Hey everybody, and welcome to another quiet coding session. It's been a long time since I've done this. This is going to kind of be a test for my new PC and my streaming setup. So far it looks okay. We're not dropping any frames. If you haven't seen one of the quiet coding sessions before, just basically I just work on something and I have minimal commentary. So my normal live streams on Free Code Camp, I'm trying to explain every detail of what I'm doing. With these ones, I'm just kind of doing my thing. Occasionally I'll explain what I'm doing. If you have any questions, you can put them in the chat, and which I'm trying to find where the chat window is. Let's see, where's my chat? There we go. Hey, Rob's in the chat. Hey, how's it going? And so let me, there we are. Yeah, I'm gonna make sure I keep the chat where I can see it up here. I'm running on one less monitor than I normally do. I need to get some adapters to hook up my other monitors here, but for now I think this will work. Alright, so the first thing I need to do is download Visual Studio Code and install it, and just put some of the basics that I normally put on here. Also, by the way, if you see anything wrong with the stream, like if the audio's off or something like that, please let me know in the chat. So I'm using a mic that I've used it in past streams, but I haven't used it with this setup, so I'm not sure where to position it. Actually, it's kind of wobbly right now. I don't want it to fall. Alright. Hopefully that'll work and it won't fall down. So let's download Visual Studio Code first. I have the font like really large, so hopefully you can see everything. Visual Studio Code. And go straight to the download. Let's download this for Windows. There we go. Save that. Should be pretty quick. Okay, about 10 seconds left to download. Hey, Harshit's here. How's it going? How's your new job? I was just telling somebody that I work with at my new job about you, Harshit, and I was saying how what a great job you did with helping out with all the open source stuff that we, I did together on the last streams, and they were really impressed with your skills as I was describing them. So, hey, all right, got some more people in here. Did you buy a new computer now? Yeah, I did. I bought a new computer, and it's so far it seems like it's running pretty well. I have 0 drop frames, so this is so much better than the other computer. Okay. This is just a basic install, so there's nothing special is happening here for Visual Studio Code. The only thing I really want to click when I install this is I always click to add the open with code action to the file explorer, and I register code as an editor for supported file types. So those aren't checked by default, but I like to check those, and then that way when I click on something it should open up in VS Code automatically, and it's just nice. It saves an extra click or two here and there. There we are, and it's going to launch automatically, which is great. That's what we want. Okay, first thing I always like to do to make this bigger is I search for React Food Truck. And I install React Food Truck. So React Food Truck is a collection of React extensions. Let's see if we can make this bigger. There we go. Collection of React extensions that really help out. So snippets, it comes with Prettier, which is awesome. This will format your code for you. There's a few things we need to set up, like the format on save stuff, ESLint. So some of these I always forget that I even have, but like this one lets you copy and paste normal CSS and then get it switched over to a JavaScript object. That saves a lot of time if you're copy and pasting large chunks of CSS. You can switch things over to a class component, which is nice. So anyway, has a lot of cool stuff. So that's installed. The latest versions of Visual Studio Code, they just came out with a new version. It said like you don't have to restart when you're installing things, which is awesome. You used to have to restart for a lot of these, so I haven't. This is like the first thing I've installed since I updated. Well, I updated on my other machine. Obviously, I haven't updated here because I just did a fresh install. Let's see. Going great. I'm gonna check the chat here real quick. Harshit says going great. Prisma is a nice organization doing OSS there. That's awesome. Harshit, is this a remote job for you, or did you have to move? Zhang says, hey Jesse, not to be rude, but why only 720p? I wanted to start out with that because I had such trouble before, but now that it's handling 720p so easily, I'm definitely going to try to increase it for my next stream. So yeah, that's definitely not rude. That's a legit comment. So I think it could probably handle it, so I'm definitely going to try. Harsha says, are you going to install Hyperterm as well? Actually, for now, I'm not going to. I'm just going to use the terminal in Visual Studio Code. At some point, I'll probably install another terminal, though. Cronus says, so what are you going to do in this stream after installing everything? Okay, yeah, so after I install everything, I'm going to try to make a pull request to a like a React Native, so it's called React Native pop-up menu. So I found like a bug, and I already found out how I can fix it, but I just need to actually like fix it and make the pull request. So I think that's what we're gonna do. I'm using that in a project I'm working on for my regular job, so it would be helpful if I don't have to maintain my own fork. And if anybody else is having the same issue, then hopefully this will help them out. All right, so future. Let's go in and go into our settings. What is that? Preferences, settings, and let's see if this will do it. Auto format. No. Prettier. Alright, so we're going to set some stuff on Prettier. Yeah, I want to use that. I want to use the ESLint rules for Prettier. Let's see what else we want. Use single quotes instead of double quotes. I'm fine. I'm not too worried about these settings since we're just going to use the stuff from ESLint anyway. But what I want to do is find the add a semicolon and a line. No, I definitely don't want to add a semicolon. I did not see that. Where is the setting? Let's see this if they have it. Zoom level previously. Let me go back here and see exactly what it said. because I'm just not editor. Oh, it's not prettier. It's editor format on save. Okay, that's why I couldn't find it. Settings. I'm still getting used to this keyboard. It's weird. I have several different keyboards that I work with pretty much every day now, and so it's it's a little bit weird trying to switch back and forth, and some are Mac and some are PC. Alright, so let's go with edit on save. Editor code actions on saves. There we go. No. Let's see if it'll just automatically. Editor dot format on save. There we go. So we're gonna do true with that. I don't remember when exactly it switched, but it used to be like all your settings were handled in this file in your settings.json. Now they have this visual way to do it, and it was almost easier to do it the old way. At least I think. I have trouble finding stuff now. So there's definitely there's a lot of other packages that I would probably want to get, but I'm just gonna go with this for right now. Actually, let me see. I can't remember what React Native stuff I usually get. Yes, React Native tools. I think that's the one I get. Alright, I think this is the one. So I'll get this. Wow, that was fast. So get React Native stuff on here as well, since we're using that. And that should be good for now. For the terminal, you can see like customize default shell. Yeah, we're going to customize our default shell. So I don't want to use the default Windows shell. I like using git bash. Okay, so we're going to go with git bash. And now we can see I can use bash commands. So let's see where I'm at. And do I have a projects folder yet? I don't think I do. So let's make directory projects, right? And now let's cd projects. Alright, so this is where we're gonna have everything that we work on. I like to just make a separate folder called projects. Alright, and I like to use the git bash. That way I'll be using the same commands on Windows, Linux, and Mac for the most part. It just makes it a lot easier. Let me check the chat again. Harsha says, currently doing remote. I will eventually move to Berlin. Okay, that's cool. So do you use bash, Linux on Windows and such? Yeah, well, I guess I kind of answered that without realizing it. Harsha says, I use settings sync extension. It makes sharing the same VS Code setup quite easy. Oh, I'm gonna have to get that because that would be super helpful. The sync extension, settings sync extension. All right, I'm gonna check that out. Not right now, but I'm gonna check it out. That would be so helpful because I have a lot of different machines I'm working on right now. Alright, cool. So we got VS Code installed. Next step, let's set up the SSH for GitHub. So and when you set up your SSH on GitHub, so I just went to github.com. I'm already signed in. I'm gonna go to settings. Let me make this bigger. Okay, I'm gonna go to my settings and let's go to SSH keys. And basically what this will do is like you won't have to type in your password when you want to push or pull from GitHub. So it just removes a step. Also, like it's tied to this computer, which is nice. This is my desktop. It's in my house. Like it's probably going to be pretty secure. So we're going to go in here to new SSH key, and let's just call this home PC. Now I need to actually make SSH keys. So what I can do, let's go in here and let me cd out, and I'm gonna do SSH keygen, see what we have here. Alright, cool. So enter file in which to save the key, and it's saying by default it's C users jesse.ssh id underscore RSA. Yeah, that's where I want to save it. So I'm just gonna hit enter, so it defaults to there. It's created the directory. I'm gonna hit enter, so there's no passphrase, no passphrase. Now our SSH key has been created. So if I do ls with the A flag, I should be able to see, here we have a .ssh folder. I can go into the .ssh folder and see that we have both keys. We have a public key and a private key. Right, so I'm only interested right now in the public key, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna move this over to my other screen briefly and open up my public key. Oops. Oh, you know what? I wanted to open this up in Visual Studio Code and I could not. So how do I? Visual Studio Code. I should be able to do something like code. So the commands for Visual Studio Code, maybe I need to, I just set this up on a different PC, and I think like as soon as I restarted, it worked. So let's restart and see if it works. Cool. Alright, so that worked. Alright. So that just allows you to open things in Visual Studio Code right from the command line. If you do code space and then a period, it just opens up whatever directory you're in at that time. It opens that entire directory. So I have this on my other screen so I don't show my public key to the world, or my private key to the world. And then now I'm going to open this. I'm going to take this over to the side quickly, paste it in. So all I did was just open up the file that contained my public key, and I just pasted it in. And now I have my key in there and it should work. So let's go to my repository, React Native pop-up menu. I do want React Native. There we are. So I want my fork of React Native pop-up menu. Okay, so I'm going to quickly just check to see that there have been no updates. So last update was 21 days ago. Okay, and this was actually I think contained my last pull request too. So we're safe. So let's go here now, and we're gonna grab the SSH version of the URL to clone. So we're going to copy that. Let's go back into Visual Studio. I'm going to cd into my projects directory, and now we'll do a git clone. I'll paste that in, and yep, there was no default. Hold on, there we are. Okay, so now we have it here. So we can check it out and see React Native pop-up menu exists. We're going to go into it. React Native pop-up menu. I'm going to use yarn Do I have Yarn installed? No. Let's install Yarn. Do I have Homebrew? I don't have Homebrew. What am I doing? I have nothing installed. Alright. I'm gonna install Homebrew really quick. Let's see. We're gonna install. Oh, you know what? No, I'm not on a Mac. What am I thinking? I'm on a PC. I'm so used to working on a Mac. Oh, Harsh is saying the fork is 3 commits behind. It shouldn't be 3 commits behind. Maybe it's just the branch. That particular branch is 3 commits behind. I have to switch the branch. Sumo branches, fix overflow. There we are. Okay, so this particular branch is ahead. So yeah, my master was still out of date, but this one's fine. Okay. This is the branch we'll be working on. Alright, where am I at? So not Homebrew. What I want is Chocolatey. Chocolatey install. Okay, so if you've used Homebrew on a Mac before, that's like a package manager for Mac, for applications on a Mac. Chocolatey is very similar. So I'm going to install Chocolatey. So let's see what I want to do. More install options. I think this one is what I'd used before and it worked. Okay, so let's try that. Oh no, that didn't work. Alright, what did I use? Command.exe or PowerShell. Maybe I need to do it. Let's probably need to do it from the normal command prompt. Yep, there we go. I need requires administrative. Oops. All right. Okay, so I'm gonna run the command prompt as an administrator. Okay, then I'm gonna paste this in, and that should work. All right, let's see. Harshit is like one step ahead of me. I was seeing that you were telling me what I was doing wrong before I figured it out. Okay, cool. So. Right, awesome. So we have Chocolatey installed, and I'm gonna do. Let's just double check. Yarn. I want to double check that we can install Yarn with Chocolatey. I'm pretty sure we can. Yep. Choco install Yarn. I like to install Yarn with a package manager, either Chocolatey or Homebrew, because it makes it easier to update it. You'll get like a little message telling you to update. Every time you try to use it, if you haven't updated, it'll tell you. It's just so simple to just use Chocolatey or Homebrew and update it right away. So let's paste that in, and cool. Do you want to run this script? Yes. If you're not familiar with Yarn, Yarn is a Node.js package manager. So it does the same thing that NPM does, pretty much. And I just prefer it to NPM. Close and reopen your shell. Okay. So I may need to close and reopen. Let's see. Yeah, this probably won't work, but let's try. Yeah, doesn't work. Let's close this, reopen. And let's make sure we go into, actually let's go see projects, and what was this, React Native pop-up menu, and I want to, yeah, see, I want to actually be in this, so that's why I just opened it like that. Let's start a new terminal, and now let's run yarn. Great, so now yarn works, so all the packages are going to be installed now. And while that's running, let's check. Cool, we still have not dropped any frames. I love that. Cool, let's see what stats we have. I mean, everything's looking good so far. That's awesome. Cool, wow, and that went really fast. I've been pretty impressed with this PC so far. Alright, awesome. So now that we have this, let's check out. Let me just explain for a bit what I've changed and what the problem was. So where are we at? Let's go into our source and menu. Where are we at? Backdrop.js. So this is a pop-up menu. So you click something, a little menu pops up, right, for React Native. Now the project I'm using this with is using React Native Web. So we actually run this either in the browser, or I'm actually using Electron with it as well. On a Mac, it works fine, but on Windows, when you click it, it causes the horizontal scroll bar to flash onto the screen just very quickly. And it looks like the entire screen just like shifts just a little bit every time we use that. So that's no good. We don't want that behavior, right? So after I did some troubleshooting, I realized what div was causing that, right? So I thought, hey, if we just put overflow hidden on that div, it should fix it, right? And in DevTools, it does fix it, right? So now what I'd like to do is, let's see, oops, you know what, I need to change to the branch I was actually working on. So what was the name of that branch? First let's go git checkout. I think it was fix overflow. There we are. Okay, so fix overflow. So first thing I want to do is remove this from backdrop.js. So this was a test. So I was working on this yesterday. That was just a test, and I don't need backdrop anymore. I don't need the overflow to be on the backdrop. That didn't work. It put it on the wrong div. So what I'm gonna do is, let's see, take it out. Styles container. Yeah, let's get rid of that. We don't need anything on here. Okay, and then I'm gonna verify that we have it on the right place. So I believe it was on placeholder. Was it? No. Is it on provider? Alright, I know it was one where we were actually using backdrop. Okay, maybe it was placeholder. Oh, okay, I did put overflow hidden here. Okay, so what I wanted to do is on this view, right, which when you run this with React Native Web, it turns this into a div. We needed to set the overflow Y to hidden. Okay, so that's doing that. So I was just kind of verifying that is in fact the case. Okay, so I'm going to do a git status just to see what we've changed. Okay, so backdrop.js has changed, which that's all we changed, so that's good. And I'm going to do a git commit with the AM flag. Okay, so that's going to do a git add and add a commit message as well. Commit message is going to be, I'm just going to do, let's say fix. I'm going to say remove unneeded style. From backdrop. Okay, and I'm going to do a git push origin fix overflow. Great. Alright, so now this should be there, and I was able to verify that this did, so on yesterday I was able to verify that this did put the overflow on the right div. Where are we at? Here we go. Okay. So I recently pushed this branch fix overflow, and we can compare in pull requests. So the first thing I want to do, I'm going to open this up. I'm going to make an issue stating what the problem was, and then we're going to create a pull request to fix that issue. Okay. So let's say let's say like React Native Web, Window UI bugs. I already went through the issues and I didn't find anything like this, so I'm not worried about this. Let's see. Live version flattened. Okay. So I'm just going to describe it. So I'm just going to try to type out exactly what I just said to you. So when alright, let's submit this issue. Alright, so now we have the issue, and now let's go back here and do our pull request. Okay. Let's see. Fix overflow. Let me check the chat really quickly because I haven't for a while. Dimitri asks if this live stream will be saved on your channel. Yes, it definitely will be. Okay, so what was that? I think it was number 145, right? Number 145, yeah. All right, so I'm going to reference 145 here. I'm going to say this fixes by adding overflow y hidden the outermost drop container. It Alright, so I didn't have a chance to test it with Android or iOS. I did test it in the browser and in Electron on Mac OS, and it had no adverse effect. So I don't anticipate it having an adverse effect, mainly because when you open a pop-up, you usually don't expect to be scrolling horizontally after the pop-up's open, right? Normally any click anywhere will cause the pop-up to shut anyway. So actually scrolling would most likely be disabled and not really an intended feature at all. So this should not be a problem. All right, so the user is not expected to do any scrolling when the pop-up is open anyway. So limiting horizontal scrolling in that case should be fine no matter what. All right, so I'm going to create this pull request. And so we're using our overflow branch, and we're asking for this to be merged into the master branch of the main repository, not our fork. So let's create that. Cool. All right. The only other thing I might have done before is maybe like squash these so there weren't these commits, because really the only commit that even makes a difference is this middle one, where I actually added it to the right place. This one was I just added it to the wrong one, and this one I removed it, right? Or yeah, so probably didn't need these, but the maintainer can decide about that and let me know. Okay, cool. So for my project at work, I'm already running off of the fork that I made in the specific branch that has the fix. So I don't need this to have my project work, but it would be nice if this gets incorporated in, and then I can switch back to getting the package from the source, and any fixes that happen afterwards I can take advantage of without having to manually bring them into my fork and maintain a separate fork. Okay. Cool. If anybody has any questions, let me know. Let's see. Oh, Harsha said, if you write fixes number 145 in the PR body, one after each other, merging this PR will automatically close the issue. Oh, okay. Yeah, Harsha's right. If you write, I think you can write fix too, but if you write fixes or fix number 145 in the pull request body, then whenever that's merged, it will automatically close the other issue. So definitely should have done that. It'll save the maintainer a little bit of time. Yeah, but anyway, I guess that was pretty quick. I actually got more done than I thought, because we ended up having to install a few extra things that I didn't anticipate. But that was cool. I guess it's a cool little example of how to do a few kind of basic things, or at least how I do it. And it was a good test. We still this whole time we've been running for about 40 minutes. We have 0 frames dropped, and we've been downloading things, installing things, pulling down npm packages, which on my MacBook caused like severe decrease in frame rate and frames being dropped, and it would take forever. But this PC was able to load everything a lot faster than I even thought it would, without anything messing up with the video. I'll probably take a look at the video afterwards just to make sure, but it looks like the audio is synced correctly, at least from what I can see from the preview. So this is awesome. I think this is going to work. The next time I stream, I'm going to try to bump it up to 1080p instead of 720. I think we can handle that. So I'm hoping to start the live streams for Free Code Camp. I'm going to start those again. So I'm trying to find the right time to start them up again. Things have been a little crazy. I've had a lot of sick kids, and my wife was in Hawaii for a while, so I didn't really have a lot of time to stream, but I'm hoping to get back into a normal schedule of streaming. I'd like to stream at least twice a week, and then maybe come out with some other videos from my channel. I'd like to start being more regular about my posting on my own channel as well. But anyway, thanks everybody for watching. Like I say, if you have any comments or questions, you can put them up there now. Otherwise, probably gonna wrap this up in a minute or so. I do want to let everyone know, which not that many people on here, but a few people. I'm gonna be traveling to some conferences and speaking at some conferences coming up. So for sure, I will be at a conference in St. Paul, Minnesota. I will be at a conference in Portland, Oregon, and I'm almost sure I will be speaking at a conference in Bangladesh, and there's a chance that I will be speaking in St. Petersburg, Russia as well. So if any of you are anywhere near those places and want to hang out, let me know, so I can, if you're interested, I can let you know exactly when I'll be there. But that it would be cool to be able to see some of you when I travel. And I've submitted to be able to speak at some other conferences too, so hopefully I'll be going some other places. But Dimitri says thank you. You're welcome. Thanks for watching. Yeah, but anyway. Oh, also one more thing. If you work with React Native, Angular, if you work at all with like backend stuff, especially like C#, .NET framework, Java, and you're interested in working here in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania full-time, please send me your resume. So get in touch with me somehow, but send me your resume and I will refer you to the HR department at Dick's Sporting Goods. It's a great place to work. I really enjoy it so far. I've been there since November. If you know somebody that's looking for work, let them know. Really want to try. We're trying to build up our engineering team, so we're hiring new people all the time. We're using a lot of really like modern techniques and technologies. So I'd love to have one of you or one or more of you join me there. So anyway, I think that's it for today. Enjoy your weekend, and hopefully I'll be back at some point this week with another video or live stream. So until then, have a great day.